from graduate students, so don't do that, okay? If they didn't tell you to call them by first name, you know, do doctor, why not, and say, I appreciate you considering this, right? Those kind of polite things, very good idea. Just kind of a good idea in general when you don't know people.
Ken, you know how like you can only take so many advisees, I guess. Like you can only have so many, and Dr. Sutherland can only have so many. Can there be? You have too many readers. Like they can't agree to read your paper because they've already agreed to read.
They might say no.
Okay.
So they might say, okay, I've already taken all those people. So that's why it's a good idea to start emailing them now.
Okay.
Or they might say, I'm not here over the summer, or you might never hear back from them, in which case I would say, if you've emailed twice, just dump them and go on to someone else.
Okay.
Because, I mean, we have grade through Tuesday, and then we're pretty much done, okay? So you don't want to waste a lot of time, you know, emailing and trying to get that back, so, yeah.
If we don't know anyone, because I'm not from around here, do we just go like we would an advisor, like go to the site and just try to find people to read it? I guess I'm confused.
Well, you have had people in classes before here at Miami.
Like Dr. Southern.
Yeah, like you know him.
That's
Okay,
about it.
and you know a couple other faculty. So, you know, you can do that. Or for your readers, I mean, I'm happy to suggest people too, and that's kind of part of this class is kind of hooking you up with that and figuring out, okay, you might read it. And as I said, thanks. Hopefully she wasn't aiming at me. All right, so other questions about that? I mean, I know it's kind of weird to email people you don't know. Yeah.
For 651, it's like I did the first 3 parts of my project, the A, B, and C. Do you want to see that for feedback, or like if you decide to be one of my readers, or do you just want the final?
All we want is final project, and we'll talk about that later. Yeah, because we do read a lot of them.
Okay.
And your advisor is going to do most of the work with you, like this needs to get rewritten or something like that. Okay?
Do advisors count or mentors of people you've had that were your mentor?
Ooh, that's a really good question. It has to be one of our full-time faculty with PhDs, so you want to make sure
They have
that
their
person's on
PhD.
your list. They can be readers if they don't have a PhD,
Okay, so they
but
can
they
be a
cannot be
reader.
your advisor.
So like Molly Kelly Elliott, who's like a
yeah.
full-time.
Yes, Molly's a good one, but some of those mentors do not actually. Really?
Molly can.
Okay.
We got one sent back this week.
Oh, okay, because I thought she could before.
I thought so too, but we got
Okay.
one sent back.
So
Then-
only professors?
Yes, so then what you need to do is look on, I'll show you where it is. Look on DECA, under resources, and look at the faculty. Wow, I'm really glad you're here, Paul, because I thought that they could serve as readers. Okay,
I thought so too.
Okay, so right here it says EDP faculty. All right, so you can click on that and take a look at who are the faculty.
And your reader can't be your advisor. It has to be 2 separate
Right, you
people.
need a reader, and you need an advisor and 2 readers. Advisor and 2 readers, and I said I'm happy to be one of the readers for people who are finishing the summer.
So I have Dr. Theron. He is kind of my advisor, but Southern is because
The
he's
official
here.
one? Uh-huh.
Could those 2 count as 2 of them?
No, he's not gonna count as a reader if he doesn't work here. But nice try.
But if Southern is our advisor, he can be one of our readers, even though he's our advisor, and then 2 additional
If he's
readers.
advising your project, that's your advisor. You need an advisor and 2 readers.
Okay, so he cannot be one of the readers.
Right. He is the advisor. Advisor and 2 readers, and I'm happy to be one of the readers. So if
Okay.
you are graduating now, you have an advisor who is not me, okay? If it's me, then you need 2 other readers, okay? So if you have your advisor, then I will be one reader, and then you need 1 more reader. But you really want to get them on board now. And I'm going to go through all, like, you know, when to send it to the reader and all that kind of stuff in a minute. Okay. So I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly since most of you seem to be past this stage for the proposal. But if you're at the beginning of the project, okay, you have not done this proposal. If you've done 651, okay, most people choose to make that their master's project. Some people do not, okay? So what does this proposal look like and where is it? I think under resources, okay? And here's what it's called. Yes.
Sorry to back up. The two people have to read, do we have to have that done before the July 18th date, or does that come after the July 18th
I will
date?
go over that at the end of the
Okay.
PowerPoint. Because what I'm doing is kind of going through the master's project from beginning to end. So this is called master's option, okay? It's under resources, and it is 3 pages, okay? This shows you what you need to do to get through your master's project. Okay, if you've already got to the point where you've collected data, you haven't done this, you don't need to backtrack and do it, because remember, the requirements for my class are just that you meet with me, meet with your advisor, okay? So this is not part of this class, it's part of doing your master's project. Okay, so this is just sort of an overview of the steps to complete, also on the PowerPoint, okay? I'm going to skip to this proposal form, because we're now talking about the proposal. Your advisor from Miami, who that is, and your principal, where your supervisor is, they both need to agree with what you're doing. I have had some students try to do everything and then find an advisor, and that's the wrong way around. Okay, because both need to approve and say, okay, this is an acceptable project before you continue.
You said supervisor and advisor, is that what you just said?
Yeah, so the advisor is the main person, like the me equivalent,
Right,
okay, one of your professors. And then there's a supervisor.
like my principal? in my
Yes,
school?
like
Okay.
principal or some other supervisor. Yes.
Is it okay to have, I'm already an intervention specialist, is it okay to have my director of special ed be my administrator to sign off on my project
Yes.
as opposed to my principal?
You
Okay.
just can't choose a school person instead of a professor. That's the problem. Okay, so you have to have Miami say it's okay, and you have to have your school say it's okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, that's what this is about. Okay, so what is your proposal gonna look like? So your proposal is before, like I thought of my project, and now I am, my advisor says it's okay, like, what is the project? You're gonna propose this to your advisor, okay, your Miami person. And as I said, I try to be super organized, and so I wrote this. You're just gonna write up sort of, what am I gonna do? Why am I gonna do it? That's this form, okay? You show it to your advisor to say, this is what I wanna do. This is the proposal, okay? We wanna see, why are you doing this? You're doing it because it's gonna do something good for where you are. That's what it's all about. And so this is where your school supervisor will say, it's okay to do this project. It's very simple, it doesn't require a literature review to do this. It's just saying, Miami people and school people all say it's okay. All right, if you're at the beginning, I feel like I'm going through this a little bit fast, so please ask if there's questions about how to figure this out.
Does this get turned into you, this page? With the, I know the signature
Nope.
part, but, so you don't get these with these questions answered?
I do not,
Okay,
unless I'm your advisor.
so that would go to the advisor I've already picked, this whole?
Yes.
thing? Okay.
Here's what I get for this class. I get the online survey. I get to meet with you. And I get this master's project plan that is on the syllabus. Okay? People want to show me their projects. Hello. Please sit where the other people are so I don't have to. So there's one there and one there and one up here. Thank you. So these are the only things I get. People try to say, like, I want to send you my project. Please don't send me your project if I'm not your advisor or your reader. Because I don't really need to read, like, extra things, you know what I mean? I'm already reading a lot. Okay, so this is for this class. What are the requirements? Right here. All right, that's the project plan. Any questions for people who are at the beginning? People who just came in, we're making a video to put online, so you can get all your questions answered up to this point by watching that. Because I can only stay after for 15 minutes, so I have to drive home and go to commencement. Okay, so you have to realize when you're doing your master's project that whatever you do is not going to be perfect. Those of us who have PhDs, I have to tell you that my dissertation is really crappy, okay? I look at it, mistakes, I don't know if, the outcomes mean anything, it's embarrassing. It's actually not embarrassing, I feel like, okay, I've learned a lot from it, okay? So you want to do something amazing, and that's great, but you also have to realize it's not going to be perfect, okay? So you're going to make mistakes, okay? But whatever data that you do collect needs to fit what you're studying, okay? I had a teacher who was using some apps, okay? She was using some apps to sort of address reading, okay? And she was going to use some reading scores to determine if the apps worked. And sure enough, the kids' reading scores went up. What's the problem with collecting the reading scores and saying then the apps help with reading? You could figure that out. It's a little bit of a research type question. Why did I say that's not great data to show how the apps work? Anybody want to give it a shot? Okay, so she's doing apps. Oh, go
Is
ahead.
it because she didn't do a pre-thing before the apps and then immediately following the apps to the post?
No, but I
Just that.
appreciate you
Okay.
trying.
Okay.
See, she just got the wrong answer and it wasn't scary.
What other reading instruction was she providing other than
Oh,
apps?
yay! What's your name?
Renee and
Renee. She got it. Okay. It's because think about all the other reading instruction these kids were getting, right? There's not really information about the apps, so we don't know if they didn't do the apps, right? Would they have done well? Now, even if she, had this class and she did half with the apps, half not with the apps, there's no way to attribute that. I mean, if you had whole buildings of kids who did it and whole buildings of kids who didn't, then you could say something, but you could never prove. So write this down. Don't write prove. Okay, we can't prove things in education 99.999% of the time. Okay, because even if we had like this half of the room, every single person did this one thing, and this half of the room, every single person did the other thing, you're not equivalent, right? Like you people are not equivalent to these people as teachers, right? Your students are not equivalent. Does that make sense? Okay, we don't prove anything. We do the best we can to show. So what I had her do is I had her interview the kids about the apps they used and said, which apps did I like? Which apps did I not like? And why? Does that make sense? So to her, it didn't seem as scientific. You all get that? And she said, wait, it's not collecting data. It is, right? And it gets right at the apps. Whereas if you just say their reading improved, great, their reading improved. But it doesn't address the apps. Does everyone get that? Yeah.
Thinking about my own project, I'm doing seating arrangements in my classroom and how it affects on-task behavior. So I'm doing a combination of observations during a certain period of time to see are they really reading or whatnot, and then I'm also interviewing them. But I also realize that there's a lot of outside things that are affecting their on-task behavior, like it's down 90 degrees in my room, and those things affect that as well. Is that just things that I would?
That is this. This is a great example of this. Never going to be perfect, right? So you've really covered it, right? You're doing the interviews and you're looking at student data. I mean, that's really the best that we can do, really. Okay? And you're going to say stuff like that, like, oh, this other thing is 90 degrees in the room, of course that's impacting it. That's great that you're recognizing that, okay? So you're not putting, I did this, and it proves that, my project worked. It proves that these seating arrangements did well. No. She's saying, it seems like this might be, I might be onto something, or it seems like I might not be onto something. But here's this mitigating factor, okay? So she's recognizing that. Does everybody get that? So the thing that I would like to see not is that, it's perfect and they did all this stuff, but they recognize that when they did this, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be a perfect outcome or prove anything. Everyone understand that? Okay, so it's really about understanding what are the limits of what I can do in my classroom, and that's why we do the research practicum, okay, to understand how data can be used in the classroom and what are the limitations. I mean, why can't we do stuff in education that proves? We don't randomly assign children to teachers. Okay, say we had children, we randomly assigned them to these 2 teachers. Okay, we might have equal groups, but are these teachers equal? No. What if we tell them to do the same thing in their classroom? Are they going to be equal?
No.
No. You know? So even we try to do the best we can to control as many variables as we can, but we still can't, okay? And that's part of doing research with people, right? People are so different in so many ways. This is a big one. Do not collect data before you get approval. That's what that form is about. Okay? That's again not for this class, but it's for the master's project. That's why we do the proposal. Here's what I want to do. Miami says yes. School supervisor says yes. Then you can go ahead. Okay. A lot of you seem to be at this stage, right, where you're writing up. Am I correct? Yes, you're writing up what you found. Who is at that stage?
Not right now.
Okay, some people are at that stage. At least some of you are at that stage. Okay, so what do we need to know about the write-up? The proposal should guide your write-up, right? It's like, here's what I said I'm going to do. Now it's time to write that a little bit more formally. Okay, again, new master's option. It's on Mika. Okay, it says master's project option outline. Okay, here's the proposal. Underneath the proposal is what is that write-up going to look like? All right? And I wrote it myself, so I know about it. It's just really about, it's kind of a shortened version if like you were going to write this up as research that you did. These are all the sections that you would write something for. So I try to give guidelines about what this should look like. Okay? Let me just go over each of the sections. I feel like I went over it in the PowerPoint though. Let me just take a quick look. Okay. Research backing is probably the most difficult part. Okay, it's right here. Abstract, 1-paragraph summary, purpose, why are you doing this? It should look like why you said you were doing it before. Research backing, 1.5 to 2 pages. Describe the research literature. Okay, this is probably the hardest part. Finding relevant research, writing about it. I'm sorry, if you two wouldn't mind doing business after class, that would be great. Thank you. I'm just not a very loud person. All right, so you're looking up the research. That's tough. Who would like me to show you an example of looking up research? Okay, if two, oh, yay, more than one person. All right, let's do it.
Isn't this what we already did in, if you did your mini thesis stuff?
Mhm.
So if you've already done it, we don't have to do it again, if we didn't change our topic.
Well, you have a research backing. You might have written more than this. You're going to have to condense it to 1.5 to 2 pages.
So, yeah, it wasn't that, it was that length.
Oh, wait, was it length? Okay. So that should be okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to really quickly go over how we do this. Here's the main Miami Library site. This is how I do it. It means like if you use a different search engine or if you use Google Scholar, don't panic. Those are fine. This is how I would do it. You don't have to do it like I would do it. All right? Does everyone feel okay about that? Like, oh, I didn't use this kind of thing. That's fine. There's many legitimate ways to find research articles. Okay, here's how I do it. I go to articles. All right? I click on scholarly peer-reviewed journals. What does that mean, peer-reviewed journal? Who can tell me what that means? Thank you.
Just means, excuse me, other PhDs have read it and deemed it scholarly.
Yes,
Deemed it okay.
scholarly. Ooh, scholarly label.
Deemed it
Yes.
okay to search for.
Right, so that means like, say I do a study, right? And then I send it to a professional journal. They have other people who are experts in my field review it, and they say, yes, this is scholarly, I like that, scholarly. Yes, it's acceptable. No, it's not acceptable, okay? Or it's acceptable if you revise it. Then it comes back to me. That is total, and then, then they decide, yes, we're gonna publish it, no, we're not gonna publish it, okay? And that is totally different from if I wrote something and put it on the internet. Everybody get that? Okay, so that's why we click that, to make sure that we get those. A lot of people use Academic Search Complete. That's fine. I use ERIC, the education search engine, which you don't have to do.